I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And Brad, would you lead us in the word?
Heavenly Father, we ask that you watch over us and guide us in your infinite wisdom. And look after us as we make decisions foregoing the future of this city. John 3:16, for God so loved this world that he gave it his one and only Son, so that he who believes in him shall not die, but shall live forever. Amen.
Amen. All right, roll call.
Counselor Howard,
Here.
Counselor Watson,
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Segola,
Here.
Counselor Lorenz has been excused for this evening, and so has Mayor Becker, and a quorum has been declared.
Are there any modifications to the agenda?
No, sir, not this evening.
The approval of the consent agenda minutes of regular meeting from September 5th, 2024, and review and approval of accounts payable. You and me, right?
Hey, I'm sorry, I lost in thought. Are we approving?
Yeah, you can make a motion.
I make a motion to approve. Sorry, I was.
It's been moved and seconded. Are there any other questions?
Counselor Howard,
Yes.
Counselor Watson,
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Segola,
Yes.
motion carries to approve the consent agenda.
All right, proclamations, communications, and appointments. Suicide Prevention Awareness Month proclamation. Do we have anybody from the San Luis Valley Behavioral Health Group here? No? Okay. We're gonna go ahead and read this proclamation. Suicide Prevention Awareness Month proclamation. This proclamation proudly designates the month of September as Suicide Prevention Awareness Month in the city of Monte Vista, nestled in the heart of the San Luis Valley, Colorado. Whereas the communities of the San Luis Valley understand the profound significance of raising awareness about suicide prevention and its vital role in promoting the overall well-being of our distinctive region. And whereas the ripple effects of mental health challenge resonate deeply within our tightly knit families and neighborhoods, impacting lives from Alamosa to Crestone and from Saguache to Monte Vista. And whereas the San Luis Valley Behavioral Health Group, in partnership with our dedicated municipal authorities, stands unwavering in its commitment to provide essential resources and unwavering support to aid individuals as they bravely confront mental health related struggles. And whereas we acknowledge and honor the exceptional individuals within our valley who have triumphed over mental health challenges, weaving their narrative into the rich tapestry of our community. And whereas the San Luis Valley, renowned for its breathtaking landscapes and resilient communities, embraces the responsibility of addressing the pervasive impact of mental health issues that touch the lives of adults and the next generation each year. And whereas we recognize that only a fraction of those grappling with severe mental health challenges seek the necessary care and assistance, and thus we endeavor to bridge this gap by fostering a culture of empathy and support. And whereas we acknowledge that the shadow of stigma and apprehension often cast shadows upon those who courageously seek the help they deserve, and we are determined to dissolve this darkness with understanding and acceptance. And whereas our local communities have borne witness to the transformative power of personal interactions with individuals who have emerged triumphant from the struggle against mental health challenges, thereby playing a pivotal role in dismantling misconceptions and bias. And whereas we comprehend that nurturing robust mental and emotional well-being is not only essential for our families and neighborhoods, but also crucial for the flourishing of our esteemed educational institutions and thriving businesses. And whereas the San Luis Valley, in collaboration with our devoted partner municipality, is steadfast in amplifying public awareness about mental health issues, embarking on a collective voyage to reshape attitudes and behaviors and tirelessly advocating for accessible, effective services for every individual journeying along the path of recovery. Now, therefore, I, Victor Sigala, Mayor Pro Tem of the City of Monte Vista of the San Luis Valley, Colorado, do hereby proclaim and declare September 2024 as Suicide Prevention Awareness Month. As Mayor Pro Tem, I implore every resident, government entity, public and private establishment, business, and school within the vast embrace of the San Luis Valley to unite in reaffirming our unwavering commitment to enhance awareness and comprehension of mental health challenges, to erode the bedrock of stigma and bias, and to vigorously champion fitting and easily accessible services for all those navigating the intricate journey to recovery. So, Suicide Prevention Month, September. All right, we're gonna move on to citizen comments or special presentations. Do we have anybody that would like to comment? Margot got here just in time.
Hello, everyone. I'm glad to be here. Sorry I've missed so many, but it's just been a struggle this year with my heart. So I'm hoping to come to them on a regular basis because I miss hearing what's going on in town. And I just have a couple of questions. One is, I'm not, well, I'm complaining just a tiny little bit. Storm drains in the city have to be cleaned at least once a year. There are a lot that work well all year without a bit of trouble. There's others that plug up all the time. And, you know, maybe on a routine basis or something, because that would be a blessing. I have to call every year and say, my front yard's under this much water. Could you please come and clean the storm drain? So that would be a nice thing if that were to occur. Once a year would be nice, sometime through the year, you know, here, there, yon. And the other question I have is, nice to see you here. I was gonna comment the last couple of times I came here, there was no police people. I said, what happened to our police people? So thank you for being here. And the other question I had was with the, I don't understand how things work. So there's a thing about the Farm Bureau with a clinic or something coming up. There is a restaurant across from Safeway being developed. Are y'all in this, or how does this work? I'm just curious about, you know, what's happening. And we have a terrific store in town for brain doesn't work at all anymore, crafts. They did a beautiful job painting the front of that, and how she has it inside. She does an awesome job. And I recommend anybody who needs anything of crafty anything, she usually has it. It's really wonderful. So that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Margot. Anybody else? All right, we're gonna move on to our scheduled appearances. In order to be included on this portion of the agenda, please file the appropriate form with the city clerk no later than noon on Monday prior to the meeting. First, we have 4-H endowment presentation of $1,500 donation from the Monte Vista City Council.
So, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem and Council, we have with us Molly and Jennifer with the 4-H Extension Office. And a couple of months ago, the city made a generous donation of $1,500 to their endowment. And they'd like to come and visit just briefly about it and have your picture taken with them and move on. So Molly, Jennifer, go right ahead. We're glad you made it tonight.
We just wanted to say thank you. and we really appreciate it. It's just a little bit more farther into our endowment and the process that we're trying to do. To make the second position for 4-H permanent, and we very much appreciate it. And we'd like to take a picture with you all so we can post it in the paper and recognize what you guys have done for us.
So you guys want to just step out in front, and Molly and Jennifer will jump up there with you and you get all this great.
As I said, do we have a big fat chat?
Yes, yes, they. There was a
You guys, you're the one that initially.
You're gonna be up there.
There we go.
Yep.
We might have to move that podium back.
I like a little bit. Wait, but can you send me your student out? So I'm lucky.
Thank you, ladies.
Tell us a little bit about the endowment. A little more. Go back.
So when Larry came on, he was really trying to build the extension. At the time, there was only 2 agents, I believe, 1 agent. And right now we currently have seven total in the office. And he was trying, most counties have 1 4-H agent. We cover the whole valley. So we had 1 agent for the past couple of years to cover all 6 counties. So Larry has been working really hard to find the funds to find a second agent, and it's still a lot of work for just 2 agents, but it's a good start. And in order to do this, he needed to figure out where to find those funds. So you're probably better at how we got started with that with Carla. And
Alcott.
yes, there we go. The Alcott, they gave us a grant basically, and we are working on meeting that within endowment funds. So we have a long process to meet that within the next couple of years. So. Is there anything else? I can raise 3 million. Yeah. So every little bit helps.
Thank you guys for your support.
How far along are you guys, like 20% there, 50% there?
We've got about
5%
75,000 right now. Yeah, so, but we've got to meet it within.
So we're getting there and we'll look on that.
Do you want to give just a quick synopsis of the fair as well?
How it went really well, actually. Some of our numbers were a little bit down as far as members. But as far as it went really well. We actually kind of revived the indoor portion of it. So it was decorated and we were really trying to get the community members involved, and we also developed a new award this year for our indoor members, and it was called the Commissioner Awards. And so what we did was we asked the commissioners from all 6 counties to come in and look at all the grand champions, and they got to pick their favorite. So we had 1 in the senior division, 1 in the intermediate division, and 1 in the junior division, and that was all based on what the commissioners thought was the best. So it went really well. It was fun. So yeah.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You guys want to spell your names for the newspaper?
We can definitely do that.
I know.
Thank you.
All right, we're gonna go ahead and continue on to B, ratification of plat for Sky High Complex.
Okay, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem. The reason you have this document before you is that we had a meeting the first of the week with Alpine Title, Marlon Reed over there, and going over the documents that would be submitted at the time of a sale of city property to Cobblestone. We got some preliminary contracts that have already been drafted. The document that provides the track meets and bounds was recorded in March of 2024 this year, after the approval of the plat, the PUD rather, by the planning commission, and you approved that. The plat was recorded, but it wasn't dated. So Mr. Reed said that he would like to see a ratification of the plat. So that's what this is ratification of the plat, and it would be done today by you, by the council, and then the planning commission is meeting next week. And we would have ratification by the planning commission, and then we would go ahead and record this document. And I think that would set it up for what Alpine Title would require for transmission of the property legally, so that they could provide title. So that's what that is about. And you probably would need to have a motion to approve that. And then go ahead and get it executed.
I make a motion to approve the ratification of the plat for Sky Complex.
Seconded.
It's been moved and seconded. Are there any other questions?
Counselor Howard,
Yes.
Counselor Watson,
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Segola.
Aye.
Motion carries to approve the ratification of the plat for the complex.
And was there something else that we needed to add to that, to have something executed, or just with that motion will be fine? Okay, okay.
Yeah.
All right, looks like we're gonna head down to contracts, agreements, and leases. We have Alpine Achiever contract for Kids Connection.
Council. So in front of you, you have the agreement for the Alpine Achiever Initiative contract that supplies us with our AmeriCorps members throughout the school year and the summer program. The contract for us, unless we decide to pick up a full-time member, you'll notice at the back of the contract, there are a bunch of prices. Those only pertain to us if we decide to pick up a member outside of the school year. So if we pull over an AmeriCorps member for the summer service, we would pay the fee for that. Currently, we supplement the AmeriCorps members' hours on Fridays. And it's covered under the school district's contract for their service. So the school district covers the cost for the AmeriCorps members to be within our district, and we're just helping them supplement hours and meet their hours to make their contract and qualify for their educational grant at the end of their service. You have any questions for me about it?
I do, I do.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Well, one of the things I noticed in there, it doesn't say how many positions are provided, how many are.
So typically there are 3, four. They try to place one AmeriCorps member in each of our schools within our district. This year, their numbers are down to less than half of what they're used to. So we only have 2 members serving right now. We have a member that is serving with Bill Metz Elementary, and then we have one that's out at the Monte Vista Middle School. And so we'll keep those 2 for this school year. They're hoping that their numbers will boost again in January, and we may get some additional ones in January to fill out the second half of the school year. But right now, we only have 2.
Well, that kind of is more of a contractual comment, maybe. The attorney can weigh in on that, or in paragraph 5, it talks about negative covenants where. You can't solicit employment from people provided by medical.
Yeah.
First of all, I noticed that there's no time limit, so on that, it's kind of like that is in perpetuity. And the other thing is that there's no reverse non-solicitation of employees, which normally in a contract I would see. But I would maybe refer that to the attorney. If seems like at least there ought to be a time limit on that. And I don't know, you probably don't do that anyway, but
No, it's just what, for whatever term they bring them into service for. So typically it's from July to July of each year.
what it says, or anytime thereafter,
Yeah,
I don't know, it just seems like having a time limit written in there would be right, and maybe you can't change that contract because that's too much of a pain in the neck to do that. But
I think it's a
It's
very,
good.
yeah,
just a note, something I in
You
reading
noticed.
that
Okay.
caught my attention.
all right.
So
Did you have a question, Judy?
I did, because on the signature line at the end of the document,
Yes.
Anika, it says the city of Monte Vista, a nonprofit organization.
Yeah,
We're not a nonprofit.
I know. And they are aware of that. That's just the way that their program was set up from the very beginning. I can have those things changed though and have a new contract pulled out if you would like me to.
Just have them put in there, Monte Vista, city of Monte Vista, home rule city of the state of Colorado.
Okay, I can do that.
Okay.
Yeah. And so this contract is basically, since we don't cover the cost of any AmeriCorps unless we choose to keep them for the summer program.
Right.
It's just for their grant reporting purposes, so they have a contract between the organizations that their members are serving.
Will we need these, like that changed before voting on it? The signature area?
I don't think so. I mean, you could wait, but you can also instruct staff that as long as that's changed, then we'll sign it accordingly.
yeah, I make a motion to approve the Alpine Achiever contract for Kids Connection with the change in the agreement, noting that Monte Vista is a municipal home rule city.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Do we have any other questions? Rita?
Counselor Howard,
Yes.
Counselor Watson,
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Segola.
Aye.
Motion carries to approve the Alpine Achievers contract for the Kids Connection, with the signature line being changed to say the city of Monte Vista as a home rule city.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, we're gonna go down to receive and approve of financial reports.
Exciting.
Thanks. Good evening, council. Report on the July financial reports will be 58% of the fiscal years past. Cash balance in the main checking account. The general fund is $3,186,918. Water fund $453,794. Sewer fund $1,293,316. Revenue in excess of expenditures in the general fund, $410,015. Water fund, $11,657. And sewer fund, $422,213. Total expenditures percent of the approved budget amounts for general fund is 53%, water fund 37%, and sewer fund 31%. Balance sheet, accounts receivable comparative. The general fund increase from July of 23 amounted to 22,000, related to an increase in court fine receivable, property tax receivable, and franchise tax receivable. Water fund increase of 20,684 related to an increase in the receivable for utility billings, property tax receivable, and a correction to the allowance for doubtful accounts. Sewer fund increase of $8,735 was related to the receivable for utility billings. Accounts payable, the AP in the general fund is lower than last year, way lower, due to a couple of large invoices that were put in the system in July but not paid until August of last year. And then what's funny about that is that this, in the water fund, just the opposite happened. We had invoices that were put in AP but not paid until August 1st. So hopefully those will get a little bit more into, was an insignificant change in the sewer. Revenue comparative, general fund increase overall now, is $390,671. That's related to tax, a large part of it is tax revenue increase. There's a slight increase in business licenses and permits. We've used ARPA funds for several things this year. We've gotten federal grants for drug testing equipment, recruitment and retention, and the receipt of IHOP grant funds. We've had an increase in recreational sports fees, increase in court costs and fines, and also an increase in Sky High rent. The water fund has had a slight increase of about $12,000, and that's due to increased charges for services. The sewer fund increase is due to $222,000 due to charges for services is the biggest amount, and then a small amount for state grant funds for engineering costs and sewer taps. Let's see. General fund average is $435,450 per month. July's revenue dips just slightly below that average, unfortunately. But if we wouldn't have gotten 110,000 in backfill, we probably would be more in line with the average. The backfill that we got for property tax has kind of made our average a little bit skewed. So, general property tax revenue. It took a little bit of a dive in July, but on average, the city's on track to be slightly higher in property tax revenue over last year. So hopefully stay on track that way. Rio Grande County tax revenue. Rio Grande County sales tax revenue came in a little bit lower again this month, causing our year-to-date through July to be $8,580 lower than 2023. However, city sales tax is actually up. Year-to-date for July is up about $39,000 higher than last year, so it makes up for the Rio Grande County tax, yay. Overall, total tax revenue is up compared to July of 2023 by $159,685, with $110,000 of that attributable to the state tax backfill from Senate Bill 22-238. Expenditures comparative. Overall expenditures in the general fund have increased July through, due to, again, I think I mentioned this several times, the police department has full staff right now. We had an increase in staff for Sky High, increase of a staff member for community development and public works, an overall increase in wages and benefits for all departments, overlap in positions for training, increase in general and liability insurance. There was a landscaping project at the chamber building that was paid for by a war grant. Purchase of drug testing and investigation equipment that was reimbursed. We purchased boiler units, lighting for PD, HVAC for a tower, mosquito sprayer paid through ARPA funds, holiday lights reimbursed through donations, engineering services for planning, official fees for recreation has gone up, and we had power upgrades for the parks. So those are all expenditures that have increased compared to last year. Water fund increase was due to wages and benefits.
increase in general liability insurance, professional services and utilities, sewer fund, basically the same thing for the sewer. General fund expenditure comparison. The expenditures average $376,877 per month, and July's expenditures came in at 26,000 below that average. Comparing the monthly budget amounts for expenditures at 58% of the budget year, we are under budget by 4.6% in the general fund. Some departments within the general fund are slightly over budget, as you'll be able to tell. Some are under. And how the city is managing within the budget for 2024. The current ratio is $4.11 of current assets for every dollar of current liabilities. And we have 8.73 months of operating expenses in the general fund's total unassigned fund balance. And that's all for that report. Any questions? No. One other thing, it's budget season. I sent out a nice email for everybody. We're gonna try and do budget work sessions. The first one will be after council on the 3rd. We'll try and make that one a little short. We'll do the easy ones first. I say easy, they're all not easy, but try and make them easy. And then we'll run 2 sessions, one on October 7th and then another one on October 8th. And those will start at 5:30, so. Okay, and I will try and get a draft out to you before the, obviously before the October 3rd meetings. As by state law, you have to have a first draft on October 15th. In case you didn't know that.
Thank you.
Anything else? Thank you.
We need a motion on that one.
So move.
It's been moved and seconded. Any questions?
Mayor Howard,
Yes.
Councilor Watson,
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Segola,
Aye.
motion carries to approve the financials.
All right. Staff proposals, reports and actions, PD.
Good evening, council. So chief is out of town, he's at training, so he asked me to give the PD report this month. I apologize for not having our report in the packet. Kind of confusion, we didn't get it done, so. So first, I think overall the PD, we're still kind of adjusting with chief and that period of him trying to do what he wants to enact for his vision for the PD and stuff like that. So to say it's a work in progress that we're trying to make steps to see and move the PD forward to where he wants, but we're doing everything we can to make sure the PD is taken care of and we're doing what we need to do for the city. We have a couple of personnel changes. Lieutenant Michael Martinez left the PD this last week. He's actually going to be the lead investigator at the DA's office now. So Shannon and Chief are coming up with job descriptions and all that so we can get that position filled, hopefully internally, and then we can promote and fill the ranks accordingly. So hopefully we'll get that soon. Right now we have 3 positions open that we're trying to fill, 2 on patrol and 1 code officer. And actually we just had 1 person accept the job today for one of the patrol spots. So hopefully, I think it's middle of October or something, we should have somebody starting at least one of the patrol spots.
Is that like somebody from the academy? Is that like a new?
Like from the academy?
Yeah, like from the police academy that just graduated?
No,
Okay.
so well, the guy that we just hired, he's actually coming to us from another agency. He's already been post-certified, he's already, I know one of the candidates or a couple of the candidates for the code. Either just got post or are in the academy now. With the idea of hopefully we can get into kind of law enforcement through the code and then from there branch into like patrol, stuff like that. But I know the one that we just accepted today is already post-certified, he's already ready to go, so.
That's good.
Let's see, so we have a little bit of stats that Chief asked me to kind of touch on. All our stats are kind of put together by Bill. He's really good at all that analysis and putting everything together, so. He touched base and noted a few things that. Just kind of where things sit compared to last year, so, we have violent crimes. That's gonna be like homicides, felony assaults, sex assaults, that type of stuff, the more serious crimes. Right now it's up 5% over last year. We're talking, these ones are more just like handfuls of cases that we get every year, but we are on pace to be more than last year. The big one is gonna be property crimes. It's up 14% over this time last year. This is our burglaries, thefts, and shopliftings. The shopliftings have been an issue that we're really trying to work with the stores on. Because usually it's, hey, we had this happen on Saturday. Well, it's Thursday. Like, can you call a little sooner? We just try and work with them a little more. We're definitely trying to get patrol and push patrol to be out, especially in the evenings, do FI contacts, traffic contacts, stuff like that, just to show our presence out there and things like that. Hopefully, we can get some of this property stuff down. Our drug-related incidents are up 50%. And that is, and he has a note by it, that's specifically because our DUIs. We've had 6 DUIs in the last 5 weeks-ish. A couple of those have been drugs, DUIDs. So again, it's just pushing our stats higher, but it's more, that specific one is more just because of we've had DUIs and more proactive stuff that we're trying to do. Our traffic crashes appear to be steady over last year. I think we're 1 or 2, give or take, right around where we were last year, so definitely continue to push traffic enforcement. This one was surprising. We have a decrease in our mental health calls, which I think is a good thing. And we had no mental health calls in August. So strictly somebody's having a mental health episode. We didn't have any calls in August, so I think that's good. But definitely surprising given how we usually have our call volume goes. So that's all I have. You guys have any questions?
I do.
Thank you, Lieutenant.
Thank you.
Recreation.
How you guys doing today?
Good.
So today for recreation, we just currently have football, tackle football, flag football, and we have 4 teams all together. 2 for 1st and 2nd grade flag, 1 5th and 6th grade team, and 1 3rd and 4th grade team. They all seem to be doing fine, and they all got new jerseys from the grant from Lore Foundation, as well as volleyball. We have 2 teams for them, 3rd and 4th grade, and 5th and 6th grade, all with some sweet new gear.
Yeah.
And then we're beginning to start taking registration for girls basketball, 3rd and 4th grade, and 5th and 6th grade. And then we're going to start set up for concealed carry classes starting October 12th.
Awesome.
Yeah, and that's it. Any questions?
Trevor, I do.
What's it?
See if I can step down. No, you made mention that we had new uniforms.
Mhm.
How was that funded?
Through the Lore Foundation.
A generous grant.
Yes.
Thank you.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
Yep, thank you. And Kids Connection.
My turn again. So we are in full force after school program. We're seeing between 50 and 60 kids each day, Monday through Thursday. Fridays are a lot more mellow for us, between 30 to 35. Our CACFP, which is Child and Adult Care Food Program application, was approved through the Department of Human Services. And I have a site visit next week so they can come and see how the program will be operating, and then we will start being able to get reimbursed for all meals that we serve during the school year program. And that's a new program, much like the summer food service program that we operated this last year. We're operating both the summer and the after school food service. And then I had a licensing visit from the state last week. They oversee our childcare license. And a lot of that has transitioned to a new oversight committee. So it's always extremely intimidating when you have a new face walk in and they have all their new rules, and each person follows specific set of rules, a certain set of ways. So that was really intimidating, and they showed up right at closing time. And so it's the most chaotic time of the day. But we didn't have any major violations. They were a couple little things like missing some things in some files that I have 30 days to correct, but we're still able to continue operating, not in threat of being closed down or anything. Kids in the program are safe and secure. And then last Friday, we participated in the school district's back to school bash before the football game. We made quite a few new contacts with parents or families within the school district. So hopefully we'll start seeing some new faces during the after school program. And that is all I got for you. Yeah. Short and sweet. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Sky high.
Good evening, council.
Good evening.
Just have a few things for you. Some of our numbers, we ended August with 21 events. We're scheduled to end September with 28 events. Right now we have 34 events scheduled in October, and we are up to 475 events for the year. So that jumped pretty quickly in the last month. And we still have a few more months to go. So we're already over what we did last year.
Awesome.
We just ended a very, very busy week last week for us. We had the San Luis Valley Rural Philanthropy Days at Sky High. We had over 325 attendees each day for that event. And that was a lot of grant funders and politicians coming down from the city, as well as a lot of nonprofits from the Valley. So it was a great, great project, bringing those two entities together to see what kind of funding we can get into the Valley. And then quickly following that, we had a concert and a car show on Saturday and Sunday. And so we had probably about 350 each day for both of those events as well. We did just post a music video from one of the artists that filmed it while they were in the Valley and at Sky High onto our social media. So check it out. It's a good little promo for Sky High. Other than that, our next upcoming event open to the public is going to be the circus. They're coming on October 4th. They pushed that back a little bit, so hopefully we don't have snow or too cold of weather when they're outside, but we're excited for them to get coming. And the only other thing I have for you is we are in interviews for one of my staff members went to HVAC school. So great for him, sad for me, but we are doing interviews next week to hopefully fill that position.
Okay.
Any questions?
Good luck.
I know, thank you. Thank you.
Planning.
Good evening. So still working on the land use code, and concurrently working with other departments to make sure that anything I change in the land use code doesn't adversely affect other pieces of the code, or we change it at the same time. So today we worked through the animal code. We're going to work through some other ones to make sure that whatever changes we make, we don't violate some other portion of the code, to make sure we make appropriate adjustments. So working through that, also working through legal review with the city attorney. As the sections are developed, I'm trying to send him those pages. As far as grants go, this week we received word that we were awarded 2 grants for a project that will connect the O'Reillys sidewalk to Dairy Queen's sidewalk. So it will complete the walkability of that portion. And the idea behind that is, number one, it will create a safe walking space. It'll tie that business to our downtown. And it'll also reduce the pedestrian travel on that section of road, actually in the road, because a lot of the high school kids won't walk on the sidewalk on the west side. They'll walk in the middle of the road and on the dirt on the east side. So we'll correct that problem, and then down in the future, we're looking toward, applying for a crosswalk and some other stuff. But that was a cool project because it is 100% grant funded through the CDOT's Revitalizing Main Streets grant and through the War Foundation. We had some set aside for our match, but we didn't end up needing it, so we'll keep it for contingency. That project won't get started as far as actual construction goes until next spring, because we'll get the proceed letter in December. And it's going to be probably more than likely, hopefully, too cold and wet. So we'll start pouring concrete in the spring for that. The EPA challenge grant, the Lariat Ditch and Trail project, made it through the first review. So now it's going through the second merit review. So it's up to the committee to look at. There were an estimated 2,500 applicants for the $2 billion. So we'll have to see how all that plays out. The grant committee and the steering committee that worked on it with CU is still very confident. Their internal scoring scored us pretty well. So hopefully we'll get the scores that they said, and we'll see how that goes. The Urban Canopy Forest grant and the EPA Brownsfield grant, both those RFPs have been issued. They close at the end of this month, and then we'll be able to start working toward awarding the contracts and beginning to work for those grants. And both of those were $1 million each. So it'll be nice to start moving on those. Planning and Zoning has a special review for their meeting on Monday, the 23rd, is a review for a medical clinic at the second block of Adams. And then we'll also be reviewing the language for the overlay districts inside the new land use code. The URA was awarded a technical assistance grant from CHAFA. This grant will provide assistance in planning for the placement of homes on the properties that they purchased using their CBDG grant a few years ago. So the intent is place either 1 and 2 family homes and then sell those properties and then kind of continue and move along. But this was a nice grant because it's technical assistance. It costs no money. It brings no money in, but it brings a lot of expertise. And they start doing the kickoff stuff for that next week. And then in the first week of October, I'll be attending the American Planning Association conference in Loveland. It's been a really good conference the last couple of years. It's given me some really good networking opportunities, and it's provided me with the opportunity to not only talk to like people that do the same job I do, but also like 2 years ago, I sat down with one of my counterparts at DOLA, and he reviewed my grant and was like, if you change these 3 things, you'll get it approved. And I changed those 3 things, and that's how we're rewriting our land use code. So it's been a really good conference. I'll be attending that, as well as continuing to do a lot of community development stuff. We're looking at some traffic pattern stuff. As was mentioned earlier, we have a new business coming into town that's going to require some adjustments and some stuff as far as it's a restaurant that wants to go into what has been a home. So it'll be interesting how they work that through. We're working through the site plan and all the design that goes into that, as well as some of the other new buildings and stuff that are going in town. So just a lot of really good stuff. We're getting a lot of interest. I had a really good meeting for a couple of hours with a potential manufacturer. I won't go into specifics, but if it comes in, it will provide about 50 new jobs. And so that's 50. So it's in the very preliminary stages. So we'll see what happens. But I felt like it was a good conversation. So we're seeing a lot more interest as far as businesses coming into town, new businesses opening, and everything from professional corporations down to mom and pops. So we're getting a good mix of new businesses that are interested in town. So pending any questions, that's all I have.
Good to hear. Thank you.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
And the matching for the project from O'Reilly's to Dairy Queen is coming from?
The Lord. Said that right?
I missed it if you said Lord. Okay, good. So shout out to Lord Foundation once again for helping us. And then you want to talk about Destination Blueprint?
Yes, so Destination Blueprint is the Colorado Tourism Office. It's a technical assistance grant that Xavier, my previous AmeriCorps person, kind of started spearheading. And the idea behind it is to develop a plan for a marketing plan, like what can we do, what can we afford, what has worked in other places to increase the marketing for and spend our money better. So that actually will have a group of about 6 core members, and those core members will like kind of develop a few things. There'll be some there'll be 2 community surveys. One will be for businesses and one will be for the general public, and kind of getting their sentiment on like how do you know where to go for shopping? What do you think about our current marketing and those kinds of questions? What do you believe we should be doing? So those core team members will meet about 3 times, and then on, I think it's November 6th, there will be a full day, about a 7-hour meeting where they'll kind of go through all of the numbers and all of the data that we came up with. They'll be doing some like geofencing with the city, seeing where people are traveling from and to, how long they're staying, that kind of stuff. And they'll be coming up with a marketing plan based off of where we currently get our visitors and where we think there's opportunity to grow. So that's a really cool grant as well, because again, it's technical assistance, it's bringing those expertise in without us having to put out our RFPs and pay for them and then get reimbursed. It's just help. So that's been a really good one. And my new AmeriCorps representative, Miles, is the one who was spearheading that with myself in the chamber.
Thank you.
Anything else, man?
No, thank you.
Mr. City Attorney.
Council, we'll try to be real quick tonight because got a bare quorum present, so Unicorn, I'm just going to summarize. We had 42 cases on August 21st. That was the last Unicorn. The next one around is going to be next week, and it's the usual type of thing, usual suspects, so to speak, and frequent flyers and types of cases and so forth. And speaking of court, we're continuing to work on the MTC, Model Traffic Code. We're putting in, the chief was interested in provisions for citations for no operator's license, proof of insurance, driving under restraint, those types of offenses. And after some research, case law and so forth on this, even though they weren't included in the CDOT version of the Model Traffic Code, I think we can probably legislate on those. And so we're in the process of trying to stick those into the final version of the Model Traffic Code. We pretty much wrapped up the commercial airport lease today. Gigi and Rob and myself met today on that. And we've got provisions in there about, how the charges are made and the indemnity provisions and various aspects that are kind of peculiar to commercial operations at the airport. So I think we're in pretty good agreement together. It's been a collaborative effort getting there of how that lease is now going to look. I'm doing a little fine tuning based on our conversations today, but other than that, I plan to have that out pretty quick, so we'll get to an end game there. Then I've been reviewing some of the land use code revisions supplied to me, and some of the procedural provisions of how that would operate, and making some comments on that. That's kind of it's a long process because you got to analyze a lot of stuff there, but the progress is being made there. Reviewing the liquor licenses come in. It's always a challenge with certain applicants, but it's because a lot of them don't supply things the way they should, and you got to go back and forth with them to get the correct carryover for leases and how the corporations work and which one is owned by whom and so forth and so on. So we've done some stuff there. We're scheduling meetings next week, the procurement policy, and then the personnel policy after that, making some comments and changes there. And just by way of information, the CERSA meeting last week, Gigi was there from the city and myself. Met with the CERSA representatives, their program. And CML meeting was Tuesday at La Hera. And that was a good meeting. Representatives from CML and the various municipalities. And then tomorrow morning, about 4:30, I have to leave for CML City Attorney's Conference. We're about a day and a half. Seth and I will both be going to that. So, any questions? Thank you.
Thank you. I was looking for the sticky note.
That
So-
doesn't mean anything?
But
With you, that doesn't mean anything?
all right, you guys. I said we'd be out of here by 7:15, so stay on track. The Lorna and I were able to meet with the two of the county commissioners this week for breakfast, and that was a nice exchange of information. It was just kind of a what's going on in your area and how can we all help each other. So that was positive. They had O'Reilly's is having a ribbon cutting on Saturday at 11 o'clock. If anyone would like to attend, it's pretty exciting. I mean, although we've had other new businesses in town, I think this is the new, I don't even know how long it's been since we've had new commercial space built. So we're pretty excited about that. 11 o'clock on Saturday. In order to support my reason of why we need a hotel in this community, Stephanie, at Sky High this week, we had the Colorado Water Conservation Board. And so that brought in water gurus and attorneys and the state staff from all over the state was in. And so they were here for 2.5 days. So that was a nice showing of people of Sky High as well. So we were proud to have them in town. Last week when Philanthropy Days was here, DJ and I had a conversation with Yvette Atencio with the Lore Foundation and then one of her colleagues, Bill Jager. They are looking at other ways in how they can help us. And it's pretty exciting. They had the University of Denver contacted Lore, and the University of Denver wants to start putting more resources into rural communities and helping them with economic development or business development. What do we want? So again, maybe just technical assistance, but the Lore Foundation is going to tell them that they will give them money if they use their resources in Monte Vista. So it's another opportunity that could be evolving here in the next few months. And then the city's having a garage sale and spring cleanup. So you can take all your branches and all your leaves and everything to Sky High on Friday and Saturday until noon. But then we're having a garage sale inside the event center, and that will run from 10 until 3. And so we've got everybody cleaning out the closets, and I mean, we still have sinks that have been torn out of places. I mean, so it's a lot of odds and ends and things, but we're hoping to get rid of it. And if it's not all depleted on Saturday, we will seek other areas to either donate or dispose of it in some other fashion. All right, that's it. And then budgets. Judy has it's just one budget meeting after another. So that's what we've been spending the majority of our time on. We have more wishes than we have resources, so. Thank you.
Council committee, city commission and council reports. Nothing. Nothing, me either.
Don't you have something to say about? I don't know, is homecoming this weekend or anything?
I'm not sure.
No. No.
Is it?
Yeah, it's coming up. I know that I just had to pay for a dress, so. Can't buy one locally, gotta go halfway across the state to find just the right dress. Of course. It's October 12th. But, you know,
October 12th.
she only goes to homecoming, you know, like 4 times, so, you know, it's so important.
Well, stay safe out there. Harvest is here and there's trucks out on the roads and just be careful out there. Watch out, keep your neighbors safe. So it's a good thing to do. Meeting will recess
Till October 17th.
October 17th.
So with that,
Oh,
Oh, sorry. October 3rd.
October 3rd.
she's trying to skip one. Okay.
Got Deacon to do. So you're good.